Your girlfriend is stopping your son from walking. Hungry girl tells Billionaire. Robert Anderson felt his heart tighten every time he looked at his son in the wheelchair. For 2 years since the accident, Ethan hadn't been able to move his legs, and the doctors said it would be this way forever. By his side, Melissa held his hand tenderly, being the support he so desperately needed during those difficult days. That's when a girl appeared in front of them in the bustling square of Chicago. Her eyes shone with determination, despite her dirty clothes and thin face from hunger. She pointed directly at Melissa and shouted, "She's stopping your son from walking again." Robert froze, nearly tipping Ethan's wheelchair. The 6-year-old boy looked frightened at the unfamiliar girl, while Melissa turned completely pale. "What are you talking about, child?" Robert asked, trying to stay calm. "My name is Olivia. I saw her throwing away the medicine that came in the mail every week," the girl said, never taking her eyes off Melissa. "What medicine?" Robert looked at his girlfriend, confused. Melissa forced a nervous smile. "Robert, you're not going to listen to a street kid, are you? She's probably hungry and making up stories for attention." But Olivia didn't back down. "They were special medicines. I know because my mom used to work with these things before she got sick." Ethan, who had been quiet until then, surprised everyone. "Dad, I remember those pills. Aunt Melissa said they were vitamins, but when I took them, I felt a strange tingling in my legs." Robert's world seemed to collapse. He looked at Melissa, searching for an explanation, but saw only panic in her eyes. "Ethan, what tingling? Why didn't you ever tell me?" "Aunt Melissa said it was normal and that I shouldn't worry you about it." Olivia stepped forward. "I live on the street across from your building. I see everything that happens. Every week boxes of medicine arrived, and she threw them all away when you weren't around." Robert's legs trembled. For the first time in 2 years, he questioned whether he truly knew the woman he claimed to love. "Melissa, I need you to explain what's going on." "Robert, don't believe her. She's just a street kid trying to cause trouble between us." But Ethan tugged at his father's sleeve. "Dad, it's true. My legs felt different when I took that medicine, but Aunt Melissa said if I told you, you'd be really mad at me." Robert's heart raced. All these months, he had placed complete trust in Melissa to care for Ethan while he worked. She was the one who took the boy to appointments. She managed his medications. She controlled his entire medical routine. "Olivia, where's your mom now?" The girl lowered her eyes. "She's at the public hospital. She got really sick after she lost her job." "What kind of work did she do?" "She was a physical therapist, specialized in pediatric rehabilitation." Melissa quickly intervened. "Robert, let's not stand here listening to made-up stories. Ethan needs to go home." But Robert had already made up his mind. He grabbed his phone and called Dr. Mitchell, Ethan's neurologist. "Dr. Mitchell, I need to know about all the medications and treatments prescribed for Ethan over the last few months." Melissa tried to snatch the phone from his hand, but Robert stepped away. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now, continuing. After a long phone call, Robert hung up, his face white with anger. "Dr. Mitchell told me he sent 3 different experimental medications for Ethan over the last 6 months. Medications that could have significantly helped in his recovery. Robert, I can explain." "Melissa, where are these medications?" I thought they weren't safe. They were too experimental." Olivia approached Ethan and said softly, "Do you remember when you could move your toes a little before?" Ethan nodded. "Yes, but after I stopped taking those medicines, I can't anymore." Robert was beginning to understand the extent of what had happened. For months, his son could have been recovering, but someone he trusted was sabotaging the treatment. "Melissa, we're going home. Now. And you, Olivia, come with us. I want you to tell me everything you've seen." On the way back, Olivia revealed details that left Robert even more disturbed. "I saw her talking on the phone on the terrace whenever you left for work. She spoke quietly, but once I heard her say that as long as the boy needed special care, you wouldn't leave her." "Melissa, Robert, don't believe this girl. She's trying to come between us." But Ethan, who listened from his wheelchair, made a revelation that left everyone silent. "Dad, Aunt Melissa always told me that if I started walking again, you wouldn't like her anymore. She said that as long as I needed help, you'd stay together forever. Robert abruptly stopped the car. The psychological manipulation his son had endured was even worse than he'd imagined. Ethan, you believed all this the whole time. The boy began to cry. I didn't want you to be alone, Dad. That's why sometimes I pretended I couldn't feel anything in my legs even when I could. Robert got out of the car and had to lean on the hood to keep from falling. His own life had become a lie built by the person he trusted most. When they got home, Robert went straight to his office and called Dr. Mitchell again. Doctor, I need an urgent appointment, and I want all the most advanced tests available for my son. As he spoke on the phone, Betty, the housekeeper who'd worked for him for over 10 years, approached with a worried expression. Mr. Robert, may I speak with you? Of course, Betty. I always thought it was strange that Mrs. Melissa wouldn't let me bring you the medical mail. She always took everything first. What do you mean? Betty disappeared for a few minutes and returned with a box full of envelopes. I saved these letters that came for you. Mrs. Melissa said they were medical spam, but I thought it was odd and kept some. Robert opened the letters with trembling hands. They were invitations for experimental treatments in New York, progress reports he'd never seen, and even a letter from a clinic in Switzerland offering a revolutionary treatment. Betty, how long have you been saving these? About 8 months, sir. It always seemed too important to throw away. Melissa, who had stayed in the living room with Ethan and Olivia, appeared at the office door. Robert, what are you doing in there? Discovering the truth, Melissa. Betty, can you give us some privacy? Please, Robert, let me explain. Then explain. Explain why you intercepted my son's medical mail. Explain why you threw away medications that could have helped him walk again. Melissa sank heavily into a chair, finally giving in under the weight of the truth. I was afraid, Robert. Afraid of losing you. Afraid of losing me. Because of that, you harmed my son's recovery. When I met you, Ethan had just had the accident. You were devastated. You needed someone. If he got better, if he walked again, you wouldn't need me anymore. Robert could hardly believe what he was hearing. You built our relationship on a child's suffering? It wasn't like that. I truly love you, Robert, but I grew up in orphanages. I never had a family. When I saw I could be part of your life, at the cost of my son's health, Ethan appeared at the office door in his wheelchair with Olivia by his side. Dad, I heard you talking. Did Aunt Melissa really do this to me? Robert knelt in front of his son and held his hands. Son, forgive me. I should have paid more attention. I should have protected you better. It's not your fault, Dad. You always did your best. Olivia stepped forward timidly. Mr. Robert, can I tell you about my mom now? Please, Olivia. My mom's name is Sarah. She was a physical therapist in this neighborhood before she got sick. She always talked about a special boy she cared for, who was almost able to walk again when she had to stop treatment. Robert felt a chill down his spine. What was this boy like? She said he had blonde hair, was very polite and brave. His name was Ethan. Silence filled the office. Robert looked at Melissa, who had turned even paler. Melissa, what happened to Ethan's previous physical therapist? I told you she wasn't getting results, that you were unhappy with her work. But that wasn't true, was it? Olivia answered. My mum cried so much when she lost Ethan. She said he was weeks away from taking his first steps when she was let go. Robert felt anger like never before. Not only had Melissa sabotaged Ethan's current treatment, but she'd also ruined the life of the professional who was truly helping his son. Olivia, where's your mom now? At Mercy Hospital. She's been there for 3 weeks. Betty, Robert called out. The housekeeper appeared immediately. Prepare the car. We're going to the hospital. Robert, where are you going? Melissa asked desperately. To fix the mistakes you made me make. At the hospital, Robert found Sarah in a bed in the general ward. She was a woman around 45, thin with deep circles under her eyes, but her face lit up when she saw Ethan. Ethan, my dear boy, how you've grown. Ethan smiled for the first time in ages. Aunt Sarah, I missed you. Dr. Sarah, I'm Robert, Ethan's father. I need to ask for your forgiveness. Mr. Robert, I don't understand. The person who dismissed you from my son's treatment lied to me. She said you weren't getting results, but now I've learned the truth. Sarah looked at Ethan, then at Robert. Mr. Robert, your son was making extraordinary progress. In a few more weeks, he would have taken his first steps. Why didn't you reach out after being dismissed? Your girlfriend told me you were very unhappy with me and that if I tried to contact you, you'd take legal action. Robert clenched his fists. Melissa's manipulation ran deeper than he'd imagined. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us newcomers so much. Now, continuing. Dr. Sarah, would you consider working with Ethan again? Mr. Robert, I'd love to, but... She glanced around the ward. I'm sick and have no resources. Don't worry about that. First, we'll take care of your health, then we'll give my son back the chance to walk that was taken from him. Olivia, who'd stayed quiet throughout, finally spoke. Mommy, I told Mr. Robert about the medicines. Sarah looked at her daughter with pride. My girl's always been observant. When we lost our home and lived on the streets, she got angry, said she'd find a way to help us. Olivia, how did you know the medicines were important? I heard my mom studying at home. She always talked about new treatments for children like Ethan. When I saw the woman throwing those boxes away, I knew it was wrong. Robert turned to Betty. Betty, call Dr. Mitchell. I need an urgent appointment today. 3 hours later in the doctor's office, Dr. Mitchell examined Ethan with special care. Robert, I need to be honest with you. The medications that were discarded could have made a significant difference. Doctor, is there still time to recover the lost progress? Yes, but it will be harder now. A child's nervous system is more receptive in the first few years after the injury. Sarah, who was present at the appointment, spoke up. Dr. Mitchell, I worked with Ethan for 6 months before being let go. I have all his progress reports at home. What kind of progress? Ethan had regained 40% of the sensitivity in his legs. He was able to voluntarily contract some muscles. The doctor was impressed. That's extraordinary. Why was the treatment stopped? Robert briefly explained the situation, watching Dr. Mitchell grow increasingly shocked. Robert, this is a serious matter. Stopping neurological treatment without medical authorization can have irreversible consequences. Doctor, what are our options now? We'll need to start from scratch, but with Dr. Sarah's experience and the new experimental medications, I believe Ethan can still make significant progress. Ethan, who had been listening, asked, Doctor, can I walk again? Ethan, I'll be honest with you. It will be difficult and require a lot of hard work, but yes, it's possible. The boy looked at Olivia. If I can walk, will you play with me in the park? Of course, I'll be cheering for you. Back at home, Robert found Melissa packing her bags. You're leaving. Robert, I know I can't stay, not after what I did. Melissa, how could you? How could you live with yourself knowing you were harming a child? I didn't want him to get worse. I just wanted to make sure you wouldn't abandon me. But by doing that, you guaranteed the opposite. I know. I ruined everything. I destroyed your trust, hurt Ethan, and tore apart an innocent family. Melissa, you need professional help. What you did isn't normal. I know. I've already scheduled an appointment with a psychologist. I need to understand why I did this. And Ethan? Don't you think you owe him at least an apology? Melissa went to the living room where Ethan was playing with Olivia. Ethan, can I talk to you? The boy looked at her with a mix of hurt and confusion. Aunt Melissa, why didn't you want me to get better? Melissa knelt in front of him, tears in her eyes. Ethan, what I did was very wrong. I was scared and made terrible decisions that hurt you. Forgive me, sweetheart. Did you really not want me to walk again? I was confused, Ethan. But now I understand that the most important thing is for you to get better, no matter what. I forgive you, Aunt Melissa, but now I just want to be with my dad and Olivia. Melissa nodded and stood up. As she passed Robert, she whispered, Take good care of him. And Olivia, too. She's a special girl. After Melissa left, Robert sat down with the children. Dad, where are we going to live now? Olivia asked. What do you mean? Where are you going to live? My mom and I don't have a home. We've been living on the streets. Robert looked at the girl who had saved his son and made a decision. Olivia, you and your mum will live here with us until she gets better and can get back on her feet. Really? I can live in the same house as Ethan? Of course, you can share toys and study together. Dad, you're the best dad in the world, Ethan said, hugging Robert. In the following days, Robert organized their new routine. Sarah received the best private medical treatment and within 2 weeks was well enough to return to work. Ethan's rehabilitation program was intensive. 3 times a week, Sarah came to the house for physical therapy sessions, and twice a week, they went to the medical center for more advanced treatments. Ethan, today we're going to try something new, Sarah said during one session. What is it, Aunt Sarah? I'm going to place electrodes on your legs to stimulate the muscles. It might tickle. Olivia, can you stay here with me so I won't be scared? Of course, I'm your friend through thick and thin. During the procedure, Ethan felt sensations he hadn't experienced in over a year. Aunt Sarah, I felt something. It was like tingling, but different. What kind of tingling, Ethan? Like my leg was waking up. Sarah looked at Robert with hope in her eyes. This is very good, Robert. It means the nerves are responding to the stimulation. Doctor, does this mean Ethan will really walk again? Olivia asked. Olivia, every small step forward is a victory. We can't make promises, but we're on the right path. 3 weeks later, during an especially intense session, Ethan managed to voluntarily move the toes on his right foot. Dad, look, Ethan shouted, overjoyed. Robert dropped everything he was doing and ran to the therapy room. Son, do it again. Ethan concentrated hard and repeated the movement. Olivia, did you see? I did it. Ethan, that's amazing. Aunt Sarah, will he be able to walk soon? Kids, every step is an achievement. Now we'll work on helping him move more muscles. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now continuing, Ethan's progress began to speed up. In a month, he could contract his thigh muscles. In 2 months, he was moving both feet. By 3 months, he could feel when Sarah touched his legs. Aunt Sarah, when will I be able to stand up? Ethan, your body is relearning things it forgot. We need to be patient. But I really want to run and play with Olivia in the park. And you will. I'm sure of it, Olivia said, ever the optimist. During this time, Robert was also dealing with legal matters related to what Melissa had done. His lawyer advised him about Ethan's rights. Mr. Anderson, what happened constitutes medical negligence by a caregiver. You could file a lawsuit. Doctor, I don't want lawsuits. I just want my son to get better. But it's important to document everything to protect you both in the future. Fine, but no drama. I don't want this affecting Ethan's recovery. Meanwhile, Melissa continued psychological treatment. Sometimes she called to ask about Ethan, but Robert kept the conversations short. How is he, Robert? Getting better every day, thank God, and Dr. Sarah's hard work. I really messed everything up, didn't I? Melissa, what matters now is that you get help and this never happens to another child. You're right. Thank you for not reporting me. I did it for Ethan. He doesn't need more trauma in his life. 4 months after restarting treatment, Ethan reached a major milestone. He managed to stand, supported by the parallel bars in therapy. Dad, Olivia, look, I'm standing. Robert and Olivia rushed to see the boy shakily balanced on his own legs. Son, how do you feel? Dad, it's weird. My legs feel stiff, but I can feel them. I feel like they're mine again, Olivia cried with emotion. Ethan, you're the bravest boy I know. Olivia, thank you for helping me. If you hadn't told the truth, I'd never have gotten better. Sarah watched the scene with professional satisfaction, but also with the affection of someone who had become part of the family. Robert, I think it's time to try the first steps. Already? Is he ready? We won't know until we try. But Ethan is motivated and strong. The following week, they prepared a special session. Robert, Olivia, Betty, and even Dr. Mitchell were present. Ethan, today you're going to try to take a step. Just one. It doesn't matter if you succeed or not, Sarah explained. I want to try, Aunt Sarah. Ethan positioned himself between the parallel bars. Sarah stood in front of him, extending her hands. "Come to me, Ethan. One step at a time." The boy focused intensely. He lifted his right foot off the ground for a fraction of a second and placed it a few inches forward. The silence in the room was broken by shouts of joy. "I did it! Dad, I took a step!" Robert couldn't hold back his tears. Olivia jumped for joy. Betty clapped, moved. "Ethan, you're a champion," said Dr. Mitchell. But Ethan wanted more. "Can I try another step?" "Easy, champ. One step per session. Tomorrow we'll try another." That night, Robert tucked Ethan into bed with a feeling he hadn't had in years. Real hope. "Dad, thank you for believing in Olivia." "Son, thank you for being so brave and strong." "Dad, when I can walk properly, can I teach other kids like me?" "Of course, son. You can help so many people. Like Olivia helped me." Exactly like that. The progress continued. In 2 weeks, Ethan could take 3 consecutive steps. In a month, he walked 5 meters with minimal support. The news spread through the neighborhood. Many neighbors who had followed the family's journey came to visit and cheer for Ethan. "Mrs. Ava, thank you for bringing the cake for Ethan," Robert said to the neighbor. "Sweetheart, that boy is a miracle, and that girl, Olivia, is an angel. It's true, she saved my son." Olivia, overhearing the conversation, approached. "Mr. Robert, I didn't save Ethan. We saved each other." "What do you mean, dear?" "When my mom and I were on the streets, I felt useless. But when I helped Ethan, I felt important for the first time." Robert hugged the girl. "Olivia, you've always been important. And now you're part of our family forever." 6 months after restarting treatment, the most awaited day arrived. Ethan was going to try walking alone without any support. "Ethan, are you ready?" Sarah asked. "I am. Dad, Olivia, wish me luck." "You don't need luck, son. You've got determination." Ethan stood in the middle of the room. He took a deep breath and took his first step alone. Then the second, the third, fourth, fifth. I'm walking by myself." Everyone in the room burst into applause and tears of joy. Ethan walked straight to Olivia and hugged her tightly. "Olivia, thank you for saving my life." "Ethan, thank you for saving mine too." Robert knelt and hugged both children. "You two have taught me that the truth always finds a way to come out." Dr. Mitchell, moved, remarked, "In all my years of medicine, I've never seen such an impressive recovery. Ethan, you're truly special." "Doctor, I want to help other kids now." "And you will, Ethan. Your story will inspire so many families." Sarah, who had documented the entire process, approached Robert. "Robert, can I suggest something?" "Of course, Dr. Sarah. How about we create a free rehabilitation program for underprivileged children with your resources and my experience?" "That's a fantastic idea. Ethan and Olivia can be our first junior volunteers." "Really, Dad, we can help other kids?" "Of course, son. You know better than anyone how important it is to never give up." 2 weeks later, Ethan was running in the park for the first time in nearly 3 years. Olivia ran beside him, and the two laughed loudly as they played. "Olivia, do you remember when we first met in the park?" "I do. You were sad in your wheelchair. And you were the brave girl who wasn't afraid to speak the truth." "Ethan, can I tell you a secret?" "Of course." "That day I was so scared you wouldn't believe me. But why did you decide to help me anyway?" "Because my mom always said that when we see something wrong happening, we have to be brave enough to speak up, even if it's hard." "Your mom is very wise, and so is your dad. He believed in us when he could have doubted." As the children played, Robert chatted with Sarah on the park bench. "Dr. Sarah, how can I ever thank you for everything you've done for us?" "Robert, you gave me back my profession and my dignity. I'm the one who should be thanking you. Melissa almost destroyed your career, but she couldn't destroy my passion for helping children. And now with our new project, I can help so many more families. What if we call it the Ethan and Olivia Foundation?" "Perfect, to honor their courage." 6 months later, the foundation had already helped 15 children with mobility disabilities. Ethan and Olivia visited every family, sharing their story and giving hope. "Hi, Mason. I'm Ethan." Ethan said to a 4-year-old boy who had just started using a wheelchair. Were you ever in a wheelchair like me? I was, for almost 3 years. And now you walk? I walk, run, and jump, and you will too. Really? Olivia stepped closer. Mason, I'm Olivia. Want to know how I helped Ethan? Yes. I never let him give up, and now I'll do the same for you. Mason's parents were moved, watching the children interact. Mr. Robert, is it true these kids went through something similar? It is, and they overcame it with hard work and love. Our story started with a lie but ended with a great truth, Ethan said. What truth, son? That when good people come together, they can overcome anything, Olivia added, and that sometimes kids see things adults can't. Just then, Robert got an unexpected call. It was Melissa. Robert, can we talk? Of course, Melissa. I finished my therapy. I've learned a lot about myself. That's good, Melissa. I'd like to visit Ethan just to apologize in person and see how he's doing. Robert looked at Ethan playing happily with Olivia. Melissa, I'll ask Ethan if he wants to see you. It's his choice. Dad, who are you talking to? Ethan asked, walking over. It's Melissa, son. She wants to visit you. Ethan thought for a moment. Dad, I'll see her, but only if Olivia is with me. Why do you want her there, Ethan? Because I want her to see I'm happy now, and I want to thank her for taking care of me when I was sad, even if she did it the wrong way. A week later, Melissa arrived at Robert's house. She looked different, thinner, with shorter hair and a calmer expression. Ethan, you've grown so much. Hi, Aunt Melissa. This is my best friend, Olivia. Hello, Olivia. You're the girl who saved Ethan. I just told the truth, Olivia replied shyly. Melissa, Ethan wants to show you something, Robert said. What is it, Ethan? Watch this. Ethan ran across the yard, did a full lap and came back smiling. Melissa began to cry. Ethan, forgive me for almost taking this away from you. Aunt Melissa, I forgive you. Dad said you were scared and made bad choices. That's exactly it, sweetheart, but now I'm learning to handle my fears better. That's great. Do you want to see our foundation? Foundation? Yes, Olivia and I help other kids now. Melissa looked at Robert, impressed. You created a foundation. We started a free rehabilitation program. Ethan and Olivia are our little ambassadors. That's beautiful. You turned a bad situation into something wonderful. Aunt Melissa, you can help us too if you want, said Ethan. How can I help? You can tell your story to other adults who are afraid, so they learn they can't hurt children because of their fear. Melissa was surprised by Ethan's maturity. You're right, Ethan, I can do that. Great. That way we help everyone, kids and adults. Olivia, who had been listening, stepped closer to Melissa. Aunt Melissa, can I ask you something? Of course, Olivia. Why did you throw away the medicine if you knew it could help Ethan? Melissa knelt to the girl's height. Olivia, sometimes adults do wrong things when they're very scared. I was afraid of being alone, and that made me make terrible choices. But you know hurting children is never okay, right? I do, and that's why I'll spend the rest of my life trying to fix what I did wrong. It's okay. I believe you can get better too. The simplicity and generosity of the children moved Melissa deeply. At that moment, she truly understood the weight of her actions. 3 months later, Melissa began volunteering at the foundation, sharing her story in talks for parents and caregivers about the dangers of emotionally manipulating children. My name is Melissa, and I made a terrible mistake with a child, she always began. I almost ruined the life of a wonderful boy because I was afraid of losing his father's love. Today I want to share my story so other adults don't make the same mistake. Her talks became highly sought after, and many families sought help after hearing them. Ethan and Olivia always attended, and at the end, Ethan would take the stage. Hey everyone, I'm Ethan, the boy from Aunt Melissa's story. I want to tell you that I forgave her, and you can forgive people who've wronged you too. But most importantly, kids should never be afraid to speak up when something's wrong. Olivia added, and adults need to listen to children, even when what they say is hard to hear. A year after that day in the square, everyone's lives had completely changed. Ethan ran every day. Olivia attended a good school. Sarah had a thriving clinic. and Melissa found purpose helping other families. "Dad, remember the day we met Olivia?" Ethan asked during dinner. "How could I forget, son? I was so sad that day. And I was so hungry and scared," Olivia added. "But you both were brave." Ethan had the courage to accept the truth, and Olivia had the courage to speak it. "Dad, can I tell you something?" "Of course, Ethan." "That day when Olivia told me about the medicine, part of me already knew she was right." "What do you mean?" "I knew I felt different things in my legs, but Aunt Melissa always told me not to say anything. I thought I was imagining it." "Son, sometimes our body knows things our mind doesn't understand yet." "That's true, and that's why it's important to always listen to what we feel," Olivia said. Sarah, who was dining with them that night, raised her glass of juice. A toast to two brave kids who saved not just themselves, but an entire family. "And a toast to the adults who knew how to listen," Betty added. That night, after everyone had gone to bed, Robert stayed alone in the living room, looking out the window. He thought about how life can change completely in a single day with a single act of courage. His phone rang. It was Dr. Mitchell. "Mitchell, Robert, I have amazing news." "What is it, Doctor?" "Ethan's story has been selected to be presented at an international medical conference." "Really?" "Yes. They want you to share the experience with doctors from all over the world." "Doctor, I'll talk to the kids. If they're willing, it would be an honor." The next day, Robert shared the news with Ethan and Olivia. "Would you like to tell our story to doctors from other countries?" "Dad, really? Can we help kids in other places too?" Ethan shouted excitedly. "That's right." "Olivia, do you want to go with me?" "Of course. Let's tell the whole world that kids are smarter than adults think, and that the truth is always the best medicine," Ethan added. 6 months later, Ethan and Olivia stood in a grand auditorium in New York, facing hundreds of doctors from various countries. "Good afternoon. I'm Ethan, and this is my best friend Olivia," Ethan began confidently. "We're here to tell you how a lie almost kept me from walking, and how the truth saved me. My name is Olivia, and I'll tell you how a street kid can save a rich boy's life." For 20 minutes, the two children told their story with ease and emotion. By the end, the entire auditorium was on its feet, applauding. "Kids, do you have any advice for us doctors?" a woman in the audience asked. "Yes," Ethan replied immediately. "Always ask children how they're feeling. And believe what they tell you," Olivia added, "because sometimes we know things about our own bodies that adults don't notice. And never let other adults speak for us. We have our own voices." The children's talk made headlines in several countries. The Ethan and Olivia Foundation received donations from around the world and expanded its work. "Dad, can you believe our story is helping kids in Japan, France, Argentina?" Ethan asked, reading letters from other countries. "Esun, this shows that kindness and courage have no borders." "Olivia, remember when we were in that square and you were afraid to talk to me?" "I do. I thought you wouldn't believe me because I was just a street kid. But you spoke up anyway." "Yeah. My mom always said doing the right thing is more important than being afraid. Your mom is very wise. Yours too. She taught me it doesn't matter where someone comes from. What matters is their heart." Robert, listening to the conversation, was moved. The children had learned lessons many adults take a lifetime to understand. 2 years after that fateful day in the square, the Ethan and Olivia Foundation had become a national leader in children's rehabilitation. Over 200 kids had been helped. "Dr. Sarah, how many children walked again this year?" Olivia, now 10, asked. "Olivia, 15 kids took their first steps this year." "And how many learned to use their legs better?" "More than 50. "Ethan, did you hear? We helped 65 kids be happier." Ethan, now 8 and running everywhere, smiled. "Olivia, you know what's the coolest part?" "What?" "That it all started because you weren't afraid to tell the truth. And you weren't afraid to believe it." Just then, a new family arrived at the foundation, a 5-year-old girl in a wheelchair accompanied by her worried parents. "Hi, I'm Ethan, and this is Olivia," Ethan said, approaching the family. "What's your name?" Olivia asked gently. "I'm Sophia," the girl answered shyly. "Sophia, want to know a secret?" "Yes. I used to be in that chair too, but now I run faster than Olivia. That's a lie. I run faster than you, Olivia teased. Sophia gave a shy smile. Do you think I'll be able to walk too? Sophia, we don't know if you'll walk, said Ethan honestly, but we know you'll get stronger and happier. And we'll be with you every step of the way, Olivia added. Sophia's parents exchanged emotional glances. For the first time in months, they saw real hope in their daughter's eyes. That afternoon, while the children played in the foundation's courtyard, Robert talked with Sarah about the future. Dr. Sarah, sometimes I think about what would have happened if Olivia hadn't been brave that day. Robert, but she was, and that changed so many lives. It's true. Melissa is doing well too. Her talks have helped so many families. She found a way to turn her mistake into something positive. And the most amazing part is that it was the kids who taught us about forgiveness and second chances. Children are wise, Robert. They see the world more simply and clearly. As they spoke, Ethan came running over. Dad, Sophia moved her toes. Really, son? Yes. Olivia was telling a funny story, and Sophia laughed so hard she moved her feet without even realizing it. What story were you telling? The story of how we met, Olivia answered, right behind Ethan. You tell our story to all the new kids? Of course, Dad. So they know miracles happen when people help each other. And that the truth is always stronger than lies, Olivia added. That night, Robert tucked Ethan into bed as usual. Dad, can I ask you something? Of course, son. Are you happy with the life we have now? Very happy, Ethan. And you? Me too. But you know what makes me happiest? What? Knowing our story can help other families so they don't go through what we did. Son, you have such a generous heart. I learned from you, Dad, and from Olivia too. Ethan, you know Olivia will always be part of our family, right? Of course. She's my sister in heart. And Dr. Sarah too? Yes. Our family got a lot bigger, huh, Dad? It did. And so much better. In the next room, Olivia was talking with Sarah before bed. Mom, are you happy here? Very happy, sweetheart. And you? I am. Know why? Why? Because here I can help other kids like Mr. Robert and Ethan helped me. Olivia, you saved Ethan that day in the square. Mom, I think we all saved each other. How so? Mr. Robert saved himself from someone who was lying to him. Ethan saved himself from not being able to walk. I saved myself from life on the streets. And you saved yourself from the sadness of not being able to work. My dear, you're so wise. I learned from you, Mom. You always taught me to do what's right. And you did, my love. Even when scared, you did what was right. Mom, can I tell you a secret? Of course. That day in the square, I wasn't just hungry for food. What were you hungry for? A family. And now I have the best family in the world. 3 years had passed since that day in the square. The Ethan and Olivia Foundation had become a model for the entire country. Ethan, now 9, ran in kids' marathons. Olivia, at 11, had become a young speaker, sharing their story in schools and hospitals. One Saturday morning, the whole family gathered for breakfast. Robert, Ethan, Olivia, Sarah, and even Melissa, who now visited regularly and had become a true family friend. Everyone, I have news, Robert announced. What is it, Dad? Ethan and Olivia asked in unison. We've been invited to open a branch of the foundation in Miami. Wow, we can help even more kids, Ethan cheered. And see the beach, Olivia added excitedly. But we're all going together, right? Asked Ethan, worried. Of course, son, our family won't be separated anymore. Melissa, who was watching the scene, commented, Robert, you two have built something beautiful together. Melissa, you're part of this too. Your talks have helped hundreds of families. Thank you for giving me a second chance. Aunt Melissa, said Ethan, everyone deserves a second chance when they learn from their mistakes. And when they truly regret them, Olivia added. You two have taught me so much about forgiveness, said Melissa, emotional. As they planned for the future, a special letter arrived. It was from Sophia, the girl who had come to the foundation a year ago. Robert read it aloud. Dear Ethan and Olivia, I have amazing news to share. Yesterday I took 10 steps all by myself. My parents cried with joy and so did I. Thank you for never giving up on me and for teaching me that every little progress is a big victory. You've changed my life and now I want to help other kids too. With lots of love, Sophia." "Dad, Sophia did it," Ethan shouted, jumping with joy. "She did it because you two taught her we should never give up on our dreams." "And because you adults learn to listen to what kids have to say," Olivia pointed out. At that moment, Ethan had an idea. "Dad, how about throwing a party to celebrate all the Foundation's victories?" "What kind of party, son?" "A party where all the kids we've helped can come together. And where parents can meet and share their experiences," Olivia added. "That's a fantastic idea," said Sarah. "Can I help organize it?" asked Melissa. "Of course, Aunt Melissa. You can share your story with the new parents," Ethan replied. 2 months later, the Foundation's courtyard was filled with children running, playing, some in wheelchairs, others with crutches, some walking normally, all united by the same story of overcoming. Ethan climbed onto a small makeshift stage. "Everyone, I want to tell you how it all began. Once upon a time, there was a brave girl who wasn't afraid to speak the truth," he started, looking at Olivia. "And a boy who wasn't afraid to listen to the truth," Olivia added. "And a dad who learned that sometimes kids see things adults can't. And a mum who never gave up doing what she knew was right. And even an adult who made big mistakes but learned from them and became a better person." The children applauded, and Melissa was moved to see how she had been included in the story in a positive way. "Now I want every child here to share one good thing that happened to them this year," Ethan said. One by one, the children shared their small and big victories. Sophia told them about her first steps. Mason shared that he had regained movement in his hands. Emma said she could feel her legs again. Each story was a new miracle. "Everyone," Olivia said at the end, "we've learned that miracles don't just happen. They happen when good people work together. And when no one gives up, even when it's hard," Ethan added. Robert, watching the scene, thought about how his life had completely changed. 3 years ago, he was a desperate father with a son who might never walk. Today, he was the father of 2 extraordinary kids and the director of a foundation that saved lives. At the end of the party, when all the families had left, Robert sat in the square where it had all begun with Ethan and Olivia. "Dad, what are you thinking about?" Ethan asked. "I'm thinking about how you two didn't just change my life, but so many others." "Dad, we just did what was right," Olivia said. "And what was right wasn't easy to do." "But it's always worth doing what's right, even when it's hard," Ethan remarked. "Dad, can I tell you a secret?" Olivia asked. "Of course, sweetheart. Sometimes I still dream about that day in the square." "What kind of dream?" "I dream that if I hadn't said anything, Ethan would have never walked again. And that scares me." "Olivia," said Ethan, taking his friend's hand, "but you did speak up. You were brave when I wasn't. And I was brave enough to accept the truth when it was easier to keep lying to myself." "Kids," said Robert, "you both taught me that courage isn't about not being afraid. Courage is doing what's right even when you're scared." "It's true, Dad. I was terrified that day," confessed Olivia. "And I was afraid to find out that maybe I could walk and was wasting the chance," admitted Ethan. "But you faced those fears together. And that's why we're here today in this same square but completely different." "Dad, do you know the best part of this whole story?" asked Ethan. "What is it, son?" "It's not over yet. We still have so many kids to help. And so many truths to uncover," added Olivia. "And so many families to reunite," said Robert. Just then, a little boy ran up to them. "Ethan! Olivia!" he shouted. It was Jacob, one of the first children they had helped at the foundation. "Jacob, how are you?" asked Ethan. "I'm great, watch this." Jacob did a full spin in the air. "Jacob, that's amazing. When did you learn to do that?" "Last week. And you know why I could?" "Why?" "Because you taught me I can do anything if I don't give up." "Jacob, you're the brave one," said Olivia. "No, you're the ones who taught me to be brave." Robert smiled, seeing the chain of kindness they had created. Every child they helped became able to help others. "Jacob, where are your parents?" "Over there on the bench, talking to other parents. They always tell our story to new families. That's wonderful. Our story keeps spreading. Ethan, can I ask you something? Of course, Jacob. How did you know Olivia was telling the truth that day? Ethan thought for a moment. Jacob, you know when you look into someone's eyes and see they're being honest? Yeah. That's what I saw in Olivia's eyes. Even though she was scared, she was telling the truth. And you, Olivia, how did you know it was worth speaking up? Jacob, my mom always taught me that when we see something wrong happening, we have to be brave enough to say something, even if it's risky. Your mom is really wise. She is. And you know what she told me the other day? What? That she's proud of me, but not just for helping Ethan. She's proud because I learned that doing good for one person can help so many others. Jacob nodded, understanding perfectly. Ethan, do your legs still hurt sometimes? Sometimes they do, Jacob, but you know what I do when they hurt? What? I remember all the kids who got better after I did. Then the pain turns into joy. That's so cool. I'll do that too when I'm in pain. Just then, Sarah approached the group. Kids, it's getting late. How about we head home? Aunt Sarah, Jacob was asking about our story, said Ethan. Jacob, did you know your story became a book? Really? Asked Jacob, amazed. Yes. And do you know the title? What is it? The Girl Who Saved the Boy Who Saved So Many Children. Wow. Can I read it? Of course. I'll give you a copy to take home. Olivia, you're famous, Jacob teased. We're all famous, Olivia laughed. Famous for doing good. And that's the best kind of fame there is, added Ethan. As they walked back home, Robert reflected on how that moment in the square hadn't just changed their lives, but created ripples of change that reached people they didn't even know. Dad, said Ethan, do you know what I've learned from all this? What, son? That one brave person can change the world. And when that person finds other brave people, they can change the whole world, Olivia added. Kids, you two are my heroes. Dad, we're not heroes, we're just kids who learned the importance of speaking and listening to the truth. But sometimes that's what makes a hero, Olivia. You don't need superpowers, you just need the courage to do what's right. So anyone can be a hero? Asked Ethan. Anyone, son. Every person who chooses to help instead of hurt is a hero. Cool. Then the world is full of heroes, said Olivia excitedly. And it's getting fuller every day, Robert remarked. When they got home, they found a surprise. Dozens of letters from children all over the United States who had read Ethan and Olivia's story. Dad, look how many letters, Ethan shouted. Robert picked up a random letter and read, Dear Ethan and Olivia, my name is Ava, I'm 7 years old and I live in Boston. My teacher read your story to our class. I want to tell you that last week I saw a boy at my school being hurt by an adult. I remembered your story and found the courage to tell my teacher. Now the boy is safe and protected. Thank you for teaching me to be brave. With love, Ava. Wow! Ethan and Olivia shouted together. Dad, our story helped Ava save another boy, Ethan said, moved. That means courage is contagious, Olivia observed. Robert picked up another letter. Hi, Ethan and Olivia. I'm Mason, I'm 9, and I live in Seattle. After reading your story, I decided to tell my parents that my babysitter was being mean to me. They believed me, and now I have a new babysitter who's really kind. You taught me that kids can speak the truth and good adults will listen. Thank you so much. Mason. Another child saved, Ethan cheered. And another family that learned to listen, Olivia added. They spent hours reading letters. Each one told a story of courage inspired by theirs. Kids, Robert said, do you realize what you've done? What, Dad? You've created a network of courage across the country. How so? Olivia asked. Every child who reads your story learns they can be brave too. And when they're brave, they inspire other kids. It's like a circle that never stops growing. Dad, this is better than any medicine, Ethan said. Way better. It's the medicine of courage. Olivia laughed. The end. Now tell me what you thought of this story of resilience and courage. Do you believe children can teach important lessons to adults? Share your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like this video. If you know any brave kids like Olivia and Ethan, share this story with them. Thank you so much for watching till the end, and remember to subscribe for more heartwarming stories like this one.